So in this video, I am going to share with you the 7 habits that made me over $1,000 a day in profit in my early 20s. Now, since it's probably the first time you and I meet, why should you listen to me? My name is Fred, and I went from struggling financially over 5 years ago to building a profitable consulting business and making upwards of $1,000 per day in my early 20s. The first habit I would like to share with you is content creation. At some point, I had somebody comment on one of my videos, well, if you make $1,000 per day, why do you make content? I wouldn't be making content if I was making $1,000 per day. That's what the person said. But upon reading this comment, I could clearly immediately see that person is not a business owner. That person does not think like successful entrepreneurs do. Because for everyday people, social media platforms, it's just a medium of entertainment. They go on social media mostly to watch funny videos, to entertain themselves, or also to just communicate with their loved ones and with their friends. I mean, honestly, some of the people I know and people in my family, the kind of stuff they consume on social media, it's just reels, like funny reels, and they just scroll for hours on end sometimes. So that's how most people use social media. But a handful of clever individuals use social media for business purposes. Now, it's personally my belief that unless you're going to use social media to make money, then you probably shouldn't use it, because it's been shown that the more time you spend on social media, the more depressed you can be. So for me, I only ever use social media to learn, so to watch educational content or to make money, to create content. That's it. And the reason why I make content, the reason why you see plenty of people and business owners making content is because it's free advertising. When you make content, you automatically attract your ideal customer avatar to you, and all of that without having to spend a single cent on paid advertising. Now, sure, there are some costs involved, like the cost of the equipment, of the setup, of the editing, the post-production, everything. But compared to going to paid ads, it's a fraction of the cost. And that is what allows for extremely high profit margins in business. And higher profit margins means you can scale even faster. So it creates this positive flywheel effect. And one day, I stumbled upon a quote, and it completely changed the way I viewed the world. The quote was, "Producers make money, consumers spend money." I really want you to remember these words. Producers make money, consumers spend money. If you spend all day playing video games, if you spend all your free time just consuming content on social media, you are mostly a consumer. So most likely you don't make that much money. So it's not the person who watches content who makes money. It's the person who creates content. It's not the person who plays video games who makes money. It's the person who reaches out to potential customers and offers them their services. Sometimes I have people that I know who tell me, how come you don't play video games? And the thing is, what they don't realize, what I struggle to get them to understand, is that for me, business, it's the game. Because in any game, there's typically quests, milestones, missions to accomplish. In business, it's the same thing, but at least when you work on your business, instead of playing a game, when you close your laptop, at the end of the day, all the progress you've made, it will not only help you in your business, but also in every aspect of your life. Because to become more successful, you will most likely need to do things you're not used to doing. So you will need to become a different, more evolved version of yourself. So it will not only improve your business, make you more money, and then with that money you can improve every aspect of your life, and video games can't do that for you. When you close your laptop, that's it, it's over. You go back to a reality that makes you depressed and that you hate. Now, the next habit is to wake up early at 5 a.m. for me and to complete an hour and a half of deep work before going to the gym. Ever since I've been doing this, my productivity has gone through the roof. Because when I wake up at 5 a.m., no one around me is awake. The city is peaceful and quiet, so I can get my most important work done without any distractions. And one thing you will have to learn very quickly if you want to become successful in business is that you need to learn to focus. If you cannot focus, you will never become successful. Because to be able to do high quality work, you need to block out all noise, remove all distractions, and focus on the task at hand for as long as it takes. Now, obviously, you don't get there overnight. A few years ago, I remember, I tried so hard to do everything perfect right from the start. I tried to get up at 5, take cold showers, eat no carbs, and eat a perfect paleo diet. Well, obviously, I was trying to do too many things, so that didn't work for me. I had to slowly over time build up new habits. Because I can tell you for a fact, if right now you try to change everything in your life literally overnight, you will most likely give up. It's gonna be too difficult. You have to start small, and it might feel like it's beneath you, it might feel like you could do more, but the small daily changes, they compound over time and they give you insane results. But most people quit too soon, and so they never benefit from the compound effect. Now, the next habit that allowed me to significantly improve my productivity and to make more money in my business as a result, it was to focus on the 20% of activities that give me 80% of the results. So in anything in life, there's typically only 20% of things things that give us 80% of the results. But this concept doesn't apply to just work or business. It also applies in every area of life. To give you an example from your day-to-day life, most of the time you probably wear the same clothes over and over again. Most of the time you probably eat the same foods on repeat. I mean, at some point I was eating the same dinner for like 1 to 2 years. And to give you actual examples for my business, if you're familiar with the method I teach to start a profitable consulting business, for me, the 20% of actions that give me 80% of the results, it's making content to attract my ideal customers to me and taking sales meetings. That's it. The rest is irrelevant. So right now, you should really take the time to ask yourself, what are the 20% of activities that give me 80% of the results? Because that, alongside with focusing deeply, blocking out all noise, all distractions, is all you need to be extremely productive and to get ahead of the competition easily. Because plenty of people, and I know the behind the scenes because I've coached plenty of people nowadays, a lot of people, unfortunately, they spend most of their time focusing on things that don't matter. They obsess over small meaningless details instead of focusing all their efforts, all their time, all their resources on the most important activities. But most of the time, if we're honest, the most important activities, they're also the most difficult. So people love to avoid those. But if you watch my channel frequently, then by now you know. You cannot hope to build a profitable business to make $10,000 per month and even more if you're not comfortable embracing resistance, doing things you're not used to doing. The next habit I implemented and that changed my life was to surround myself with people who understand me. Something you're very quickly going to notice is that when you start to make more money, when you start to build a profitable business, some of the people around you, all of a sudden, you will lose some of the people in your life. Because some people, the sad truth is, they don't want to see you doing better than them. So instead of being inspired by your success, they'll get jealous, envious, bitter, resentful even. But I genuinely believe if somebody wants to live your life, you should let these people go. There's no use in trying to keep someone if they make your life worse. So I really want you to live by the following motto. If they don't make you happier, wiser, smarter, or richer, they don't belong in your life, and we make no exceptions. Now, back when I started building my businesses, obviously I wasn't surrounded by multi-millionaires or successful people in general. I was surrounded by average people who settled for an okay life, mediocrity, and they were mostly complaining all the time. But you don't build anything great by constantly complaining. Of course not. And so what I did initially is that I started to surround myself with successful people virtually by watching their videos, reading their books, by joining programs to meet other like-minded people, and to also receive the guidance I needed to build a profitable business. I mean, sometimes it's funny because I have people tell me, you can find everything for free on the internet. But what they have in common is that they're always broke. They're always the ones who make the least amount of money or even no money at all. So whatever the cost may be, do what it takes to surround yourself with ambitious and successful individuals, even if it's just virtually. That's one of the big pros of the internet and social media, because in just a few clicks, you can connect with like-minded individuals from all over the world. Now, the next habit that completely changed my life and allowed me to make upwards of $1,000 per day in profit with my consulting business, it was to go the extra mile. One day, I was reading a book which was about getting up early, funnily enough, and I read the following quote, which completely changed my life. Extraordinary efforts lead to extraordinary results. Weak efforts lead to weak results. And that is extremely accurate. I mean, I see a lot of people, they want everything for nothing in exchange. I see a lot of people, they complain about having to do some work to build their business. Like, come on, what do you expect me to say? Do you expect me to say, oh, just click on a few buttons, you're gonna be a millionaire in 30 days? Of course not. It takes work, patience, and perseverance, and all business entails risk. But some people expect everything to be handed to them on a silver platter. That's not how it works. If you want something, you need to go out there and to get it. Put in the work until you get the outcome that you want. Only doing the work will get you what you want. So you need to learn to push yourself to go the extra mile, to become comfortable with pain, with getting out of your comfort zone. To give you an actual example, a few years ago, I was a very different person. What I mean is, I was so anxious, I couldn't even leave my parents' house to go for a walk in the neighborhood for months. And so naturally, when came the time to make some content and to reach out to potential customers, I was so anxious, I couldn't get myself to do it. And even whenever I could manage to send some messages to LinkedIn connections to figure out whether or not they could benefit from my services, I was too afraid to even just open up their messages, so I wouldn't open up their messages for 1 to 2 weeks. So of course I was broke, because I was letting my fears, my anxieties, my doubts hold me back, weigh me down. And so one day I was just sick and tired of not moving forward, of procrastinating, of constantly overthinking everything, that I just told myself, okay, you know what? Fear is ruining my life. It's preventing me from moving forward and making my dreams into a reality. And that's when I came up with the idea that completely changed my life. I grabbed a piece of paper and a pen and I wrote down everything I was afraid to do at the time. And every single day, I forced myself to do at the bare minimum one thing I was afraid to do. And this simple exercise changed my life. It allowed me to become the man I am today. If you met me 5 5 years ago and you met me now, you wouldn't even believe you're talking to the same individual, because that's how much I've changed. And I'll tell you that for a fact, the version of you who makes $10,000 per month is not the same as the version of you that makes 1K per month, 2K per month, because you'll think differently, you'll see things differently, and you'll do different things, you'll take action differently. The next habit I would like to share with you is that I'm always open to learning. You need to keep an open mind, you need to be coachable. On this channel and even with my clients, I share advice, I tell you to do things that you're probably not used to doing. But if you never do anything new, how could you hope to obtain a different outcome? So that's the first thing. If you don't put in the work, you won't get results. It's that simple. But on top of that, if you keep doing the same things you've been doing up until now, well, you can't expect to obtain a different outcome. Einstein said it himself. It's literally the definition of insanity. Because one thing I've realized after building a profitable business and helping many ambitious people to do the same is that business always comes down to mathematics. If you put in the work, you follow the steps, you won't get results. You just need to hit the right targets. But if you do, you won't be successful. So it's really that simple. But most people overcomplicate it, and of course they don't have the proven step-by-step process, they have no mentor, and they have no idea what they're doing. And so just like me over 5 years ago, they let their fears, their doubts, their anxieties hold them back. But be open to learning, because you don't know everything. If you knew everything, you'd be a trillionaire. I'd be a trillionaire if I knew everything. Now the next habit I'd like to share with you is improving my social skills, because I really understood from the start that business was all about people. So I knew I couldn't stay anxious and somehow end up a successful businessman, because in my mind I had this idea of what a successful man would be like, what he would think, what he would behave, what he would be like in general, and I knew I was very different from that successful man, because if I hadn't been, then I would have been successful already. But I knew I needed to improve my social skills. If you can't communicate with people properly, how will you communicate with customers? How will you communicate with service providers? You won't. And so like me over 3 to 5 years ago, you'll be stuck, like not even being able to message people because you're so afraid. But if you can learn to master social skills, your life will never be the same ever again, and you will never feel lonely ever again. Typically, if you feel lonely, it's because either you're not comfortable with yourself or you just don't know how to build relationships with people. And those are skills that you can learn. So to learn social skills, I read some books on the subject, but I also just started talking to people and realizing that people were just human beings. Like at the end of the day, it's crazy to me how some people put celebrities like Justin Bieber or whoever on a pedestal. Like you can see these celebrities getting out of a hotel and people start to literally like jump on them. It's like, what the fuck? It's just a human being. They just have more fame, that's it. For me, they're normal human beings. I've seen celebrities and they were right in front of me. I was like, okay, cool. They're just human beings. Now look, it's time for you to make a choice. You can keep watching YouTube videos, but this won't make you more money. But if you are part of that minority of ambitious individuals who's ready and committed to build a profitable business so you can become financially free, I invite you to check out the free resources in the description below, or to directly apply to book a call with me or my team, and we'll see if we can help you to build your business. That being said, if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend, and together, let's blow up this YouTube channel to empower more ambitious individuals across the globe to become financially free. And to thank you, when we get to 100,000 subs, I will be giving away $10,000.